I, excuse me, I have something in my throat. So I was wondering, one of my many random thoughts throughout the day, how is it that some people have friends? Let me back up. Now that sounds very mean, but the specific person I am, the specific type of person I'm thinking of are bullies. There's As an adult, if I could go back in time and talk to my younger self, like kid self, I would tell my kid self that bullies don't go away. Bullies in the adult life, in the adult world, do exist. And I don't understand them. I don't understand anybody who feels the need to belittle people or humiliate them just because they can. Like, that just seems just hateful and asinine, but they do exist. And yeah, it just makes me wonder how someone who is so awful could have friends or a spouse or anyone stand to be around them that didn't have to be. And I guess I'm thinking about this because I'm trying to figure out a lot of things that I want to teach my daughter. And I want to make sure that she is not bullied, and most importantly, that she does not become a bully. I would be so devastated if I found out my daughter was a bully. That's awful. Um, and I don't know if like bullies are the way that they are because they have been. I know that that can be a part that like bullies have been bullied themselves, and that's just they're just acting the way that they've always seen and have that behavior has been modeled to them. Um, but I just like I'll just tell this quick story. This happened in my adult life. Many years ago, I was working and my boyfriend, now husband, came to visit me at work. And I don't know which one of my coworkers said something. It shouldn't even matter, but I guess one of my coworkers mentioned to one of her friends who was a nurse. She was I wasn't a nurse at the time, but this particular person was. It's long and complicated. I don't feel like explaining like the hierarchy, but basically she mentioned to her friend, for whatever reason, this nurse, that I was talking to my boyfriend, and this nurse, who I never have spoken to a day in my life, came up to me and was like, "Oh, you have time to like talk to your boyfriend?" Oh, and then like she said, it's happened so long ago, but she said a bunch of other like condescending, nasty things, and I was in such shock that I could not believe what just happened because I've never had an adult talk to me so awful before. And I just looked at my boyfriend and was like, "What just happened?" And then, to make things worse, came. This nurse told my boss at the time. She got me in trouble. Like she like went out of her way to talk to my boss about me. And then my boss came up to me and was like, "Well, she said that you were doing this and I was not doing that." And I just remember feeling so hurt, that I went home and I like cried all night. And then that turned from crying to like anger, but I never confronted her because I just don't know how to confront. I wish I would have squashed it then and there, but I think I was in such shock. I just didn't know how to handle the situation. And when I think about it, like, it was one of those situations where like this person was particularly well liked, or so it seemed, as I found out later. Like, apparently a lot of people hate her face, but everyone plays like she's this really cool person. And I just remember sitting there and thinking about it, like just stewing, like I just cannot believe. And there was, at the time, like there's nothing I could have done about it. I could have complained, but that complaint would have like went to the wind. Um, and then like she's always been like this. I remember I mean I've had other interaction with her and they were just always very like awful, and I couldn't understand why, because we don't have the same friends, like we don't run in the same circles. I've never talked to her, so I don't understand why she's so awful towards me. But there's people like that who just exist, and they wield their power for bad, and they're just awful. And a lot of the times I like just try to, I want to like pray for them and pray for like for my own like sanity, that's not a word, sanity, and just pray for forgiveness for her. But then like I hate her face. It's just anyways, I'm rambling, and I just know that like people like this exist. And then like I found out that she got married, and I'm like, how? Like, you're horrible. You're horrible. Like you're I don't understand it. So I'm just laughing because I'm sorry. I'm smiling because it just like it just almost makes me laugh to a point when I think about how like it's just amazing. Like, I guess there's someone for everyone, and I don't know. Maybe she's nicer at home, but I have a feeling if people are jerks at work, they're jerks at home. Like, I don't know people who are like jerks at. I think they're more jerky in a stressful situation, but they don't go home and they're not like Mr. What's that guy? Mr. Rogers? Yeah, they're not Mr. Rogers. They're not baking you cookies. Like, she's probably consistently an awful person. So I wanted to hear, maybe she was never loved. I don't know. I don't know what her deal is. Like, I don't know why she's like that, but I just want to make sure that, like, when I speak to my daughter about these things, that you just have to forgive people. And that's like the most countercultural thing to do, especially when people are being heinous. But if someone's being mean to her, just be nice and just keep it moving, and just don't engage in that, because it's negative behavior that apparently gets reinforced over and over and over again. I just wonder if these like bullies ever know that they're bullies. Does ever a point where they realize that they're awful? And I wonder, is the behavior ever going to change? Because I can't imagine bullies being allowed to get away with bullying forever without some repercussions. I don't know. But yeah, bullies suck.